Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chet Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Ter Bhavati Nashtake. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 22, Krishna steals the garments of the unmarried gopis, text 34 onwards. Patra pushpa falachaya moola valkal darvi gandha nirya sabhasmat sthe tokme kaman vitanvate. These trees fulfill one's desires with their leaves, flowers, and fruits, their shade, roots, bark, and wood, and also with their fragrant sap, ashes, pulp, and shoots. So Krishna is glorifying the trees he is sitting under. Etavad janma safalyam dehinam dehishu prana dhiya vacha shreya acharanam sada. It's a duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and words. So this translation is quoted from Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita translation. Iti pravalas fal pushpa dalodkara tarunam namra shakhanam madhyato yamanam gata. Thus moving among the trees whose branches were bent low by the abundance of twigs, fruits, flowers, and leaves, Lord Krishna came to the Yamuna river. Tatraga payitvapaha sumrishta shitala vipshiva tato nripasvayam gopaha kamam swadu papura jalam. The cowherd boys let the cows drink the clear, cool, and wholesome water of the Yamuna. O King Parikshit, the cowherd boys themselves also drank that sweet water to their full satisfaction. Tasya upavane kamam charyanta pashundripa Krishna Rama upagamya kshuddharta idam abravan. Then, O King, the cowherd boys began herding the animals in a leisurely way within a small forest along the Yamuna. But soon they became afflicted by hunger, and approaching Krishna and Balram spoke as follows. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that the cowherd boys were concerned that Krishna would be hungry, and thus they feigned their own hunger so that Krishna and Balram would make suitable arrangements to eat. Okay. So thus ends the purport of 10th Canto, 22nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna Steals the Garments of the Unmarried Gopis. So text, chapter 23, the Brahman's Wives Blessed. Shri Gopuchu, Rama Rama Mahabhav, Krishna Dushta Nibarhana, Esha Vaibadate Kshunnas, Tachantim Kartumarahata. The cowherd voice said, O Rama, Rama, mighty armed one, O Krishna, chastiser of the wicked, we are being harassed by hunger and you should do something about it. The cowherd voice jokingly implied that since Sri Krishna is the subduer of all bad things, the Lord should subdue their hunger by arranging for them to eat. In this statement by the cowherd boys, we observe the intimate loving friendship they enjoyed with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And just like when they got Dhenugasura killed, they said, we want to eat those fruits. So here also they're saying, we are hungry, you please make that. If they had said, Krishna Balram, you must be hungry, Krishna Rama, oh, no, we are not hungry. So that wouldn't have been the right thing to do. But then question is, how come they were hungry? How come they didn't have lunch today? Every day mothers would pack lunch for them. Why didn't they have lunch today? So reason is given later. Shri Shukavacha, iti vigyapito goper bhagwan devaki sutaha bhaktaya vipra bharyaya prasiddhan idam abravid. Shukdev Goswami said, then, thus entreated by the cowherd boys, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the son of Devaki, replied as follows, desiring to please certain of his devotees who were Brahmins' wives. And so he wanted to please these Dvij or Brahmins' wives, and wanted to give his mercy to the Brahmins and the Brahmins' wives also. But also what had happened that day, because they left for cow grazing early morning. Why? Krishna wanted to fulfill the desires of these gopis who were keeping vrata for him. And they were early morning, they were bathing in Yamuna. So they didn't bring their lunch that day. See, the whole, everything is coming together. So they didn't bring the lunch. Krishna fulfilled the desires of the gopis, but now they were hungry. Now what to do? Cows had eaten grass, they had drank the water of Yamuna, but the boys were hungry and Krishna Balram were hungry also. Why? Because that day he wanted to give his mercy to these wives of the Brahmins also, and the Brahmins also. Priyata Deva Yajanam Brahmana Brahmavadina Satram Angirasam Nama Hiyaste Swarga Kamyaya. Lord Krishna said, please go to the sacrificial arena where a group of Brahmins learned in the Vedic injunctions are now performing the Angirasa sacrifice to gain promotion to heaven. Tatra gatvo dhanam gopa yachita tasmad visarjita kirtayanto bhagavat aryasya mam cha vidham. So Brahmins, they are doing sacrifice to go to heaven. They are living in Braj. So they didn't know the real meaning of heaven when they're living in Braj. So Krishna wanted to tell them also, give them the right message of the Vedas, of the real fruit of performance of yagyas in Vrindavan, in Braj. So Krishna said, when you go there, my dear cowherd boys, simply request some food. Declare to them the name of my elder brother, the Supreme Lord Balaram, and also my name, and explain that you have been sent by us. Lord Krishna encouraged his boyfriends to request charity without being embarrassed. In case the boys felt that they had no right to personally approach such respectable Brahmins, the Lord told them to mention the names of Balram and Krishna, the holy names of God. That you go to them and you get some food for us. Tell them Krishna and Balram are here. And they are hungry, they want some food. Iti adishta bhagavata gatva yachantate tatha kritanjali puta vipran dandavata patita bhuvi. Thus instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cowherd boys went there and submitted their request. They stood before the Brahmins with palms joined in supplication and then fell flat on the ground to offer respect. So these gopas, they are gopas. They don't pay respects to anybody, actually. They're so naughty. But here, because the elderly Brahmins are there, and they were Brahmins, the gopas are from Vaishya community, so that way also they were respectable, and now they were hungry as well. So they just fell flat. Dandvat pranam they were doing. He bhumi deva shrunukta krishnasya deshikarina praptanjanit bhadrambo gopanno ramachodita. The cowherd boys said, O earthly gods, please hear us. We cowherd boys are executing the orders of Krishna, and we have been sent here by Balaram. We wish all good for you. Please acknowledge our arrival. The term Bhumi Deva, gods on earth, refers here to the Brahmins who are supposed to closely represent the will of the Supreme Lord. The philosophy of Krishna consciousness is not a primitive polytheistic doctrine, holding that human beings on the earth are gods. Rather, it's a science that traces the descent of authority from the Supreme Lord himself, from the Absolute Truth himself, Sri Krishna. The authority and power of God naturally extend along with the extension of his creation. And on the earth, the Lord's will and authority are represented by purified, enlightened men called Brahmins. So the commentators are making sure we understand when they say earthly gods, that doesn't mean there's so many gods. They're just representative of will of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmins. That's why they can be called Bhumi Devas. And sometimes kings are called Nrudeva. Nrudeva means god of public people. It's not that they are God, they're representing God and maintaining, taking care of the people under them. That's all. This account will illustrate that the ritualistic Brahmins approached by the cowherd boys were not at all properly enlightened and thus could not appreciate the position of Krishna and Balaram or that of their intimate associates. In fact, this pastime exposes the pretentious position of so-called Brahmins who are not faithful devotees of the Supreme Lord. Gashcharyanta vivadur odanam rama chito lashato bubukshito tayor dvija odanam arthinor yadi shraddha chavo yachat dharma vittamaha. Lord Ram and Lord Achyuta are tending their cows not far from here. They are hungry and want you to give them some of your food. Therefore, Brahmins, best of the knowers of religion, if you have faith, please give some food to them. The cowherd boys doubted the generosity of the Brahmins, and thus they used the words bubukshito, meaning that Krishna and Balaram were hungry. The boys expected the Brahmins to know the Vedic injunction, annasya kshuditam patram. Anyone who is hungry is a fit candidate for receiving food and charity. But if the Brahmins would not recognize the authority of Krishna and Balaram, the title Dvija would be taken to mean merely born from two parents. Dvi means from two, Ja means born, rather than twice born. So Dvija, so twice born. Twice born means once we take birth from our mother's womb, and secondly, when we get initiated, we take birth. Then the spiritual master is a father, and we can say scriptures are the mother, or Gayatri Mantra is the mother, whatever we want to believe. So that is twice born. But Dvija is also, sometimes birds are also called Dvija. Why? First, they are born in the egg, and when the egg breaks, then the baby bird comes out. So that way also they're called Dvija. So if the Brahmins, if they're not doing their job properly, the Brahmins means Brahmanjanati ti Brahman. First they have to know the Supreme Lord and they have to serve him properly. If they're not doing that, then they're like birds. Dvij, that bird, not twice born. Brahman, real Brahman. When the Brahmins did not respond to the cowherd boys' initial request, the boys addressed the Brahmins with a slight trace of sarcasm as dharma vittamaha, the best of the knowers of religion. So you're the best of the knowers of religion, and religion means to serve Krishna and Balaram. And when Krishna sent them, okay, you go and ask in the name of, first he said Balaram. Why? Because Balramji was known as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Vasudeva is a Kshatriya. So at least Balramji was known as a Kshatriya. Krishna was not known as son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Krishna was known as son of Yashoda and Nanda Baba. And Yashoda and Nanda Baba is a Vaishya, so Krishna comes into the Vaishya category if we go by that system. So now these boys are being sent to ask food in the name of Krishna, Balram first. Balram, why Kshatriya? So Brahmins might think, why should I give food, our Vedic, Yogic food, to a Vaishya? Kshatriya, okay, maybe there is a chance that they might give Kshatriya for Balramji. So that's why Krishna first said, take the name of Balram. But these Brahmins, they didn't really know the real Vedic injunction. First, if some hungry person comes, he should be fed, and then on top of it, Krishna and Balram have sent these cowherd boys. But Brahman, they just didn't know the real Vedic injunction. And they were thinking, well, we are performing the Vedic sacrifice, and prasadam distribution will take place later. But the culmination of performance of Vedic sacrifice is Lord has to be pleased. Yagyarthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. So real yagya means Vishnu or Krishna. And when Krishna and Vishnu are asking for your fruits of the sacrifice, just offer. That's the perfection of any yagya. But these Brahmins, they didn't know. Dikshaya Pashu Sanstaya Sotraman Yascha Sattama Anyatra Dikshitasyapi Nanam Ashnan Idushyati. Except during the interval between the initiation of the performer of the sacrifice and the actual sacrifice of the animal. Oh, most pure Brahmins, it's not contaminating for even the initiated to partake of food, at least in sacrifices other than the Sotramani. The cowherd boys anticipated the possible objection from the Brahmins that they could not give the boys any food because they themselves had not yet eaten, and that a priest initiated to perform a sacrifice should not eat. Therefore, the boys humbly informed the Brahmins about various technicalities of ritualistic sacrifice. The cowherd boys were not unaware of the formalities of Vedic culture, but their real intention was simply to render loving service to Lord Krishna. So they told them, there is a loophole, you can give us the food. Itite bhagavad yajnam shanvanto api na shushruvo Shudrasha bhuri karmano balisha vriddhamanina. The Brahmins heard this supplication from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yet they refused to pay heed. Indeed, they were full of petty desires and entangled in elaborate rituals. Though presuming themselves advanced in Vedic learning, they were actually inexperienced fools. These childish Brahmins were full of petty desires, such as a desire to attain to material heaven, and therefore they could not recognize the golden transcendental opportunity offered them by the arrival of Krishna's personal boyfriends. Presently, throughout the world, people are madly pursuing material advancement and thus cannot hear the message of the Supreme Lord Krishna that is being broadcast through the missionary activities of the Krishna consciousness. Times have hardly changed and proud materialistic priests are still prevalent on the earth. So that time, these cowherd boys, boyfriends of Krishna and Balram, they were asking, and the Brahmins, no, we have to do this, our yagya, our karma khandiya yagya properly so we can go to heaven, so we don't have any food for it. So similarly, even right now, when devotees go ask for donation or they're trying to do yagya, sankirtan yagya by giving out books or do some harinam kirtan or giving out prasadam, people, they say, we don't have time. We don't want to buy books. We don't want to hear harinam. We don't want to take prasadam. What they're doing, busy in working so hard to make money, that's all. But they don't know the real goal of life, which is to serve Krishna, to become Krishna conscious. By working so hard, we are thinking we are making heavenly arrangements here. We don't know what the heavenly arrangements are, but to whatever extent, means we want to improve our life, our standard of living, standard of eating, standard of dressing, standard of sleeping, and we think we're doing that. Actually, no. It's not happening. Only by becoming Krishna conscious, we will improve our standard. We'll improve our consciousness. We'll improve our standard as well. We'll have more satisfaction, more peace, more happiness in our lives. But people in general, they just don't know. And they don't know. They say we don't have nothing to do with the devotees who are preaching. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj used to say it takes gallons of blood to take a person, to make a person a devotee, to turn him into a devotee. It takes gallons of blood, means it takes so much of energy, so much of effort on part of the devotees to preach to somebody, to cultivate him, to make him a devotee. It's not that easy. But still, those who think they are enjoying the material world, or they want to make progress materially, they just still don't want to listen. Anyway, it's our service to Krishna, so we'll continue doing it. Desha Kala Prithak Dravyam Mantra Tantra Trajo Agneya Devata Yajmanascha Kritur Dharmascha Yanmaya Tam Abram Paramam Saksha Bhagvantam Adhokshajam Manushya Drishtaya Dushpragya Martyatmanu Nameni Re. Although the ingredients of sacrificial performance, the place, time, particular paraphernalia, mantras, rituals, priests, fires, demigods, performer, offering, and the as yet unseen beneficial results are all simply aspects of his opulences, the Brahmins saw Lord Krishna as an ordinary human because of their perverted intelligence. They fail to recognize that he is the supreme absolute truth, the directly manifest personality of Godhead, whom the material senses cannot ordinarily perceive. Thus, bewildered by the false identification with the mortal body, they did not show him proper respect. The ritualistic Brahmins could not understand why the sacrificial food should be offered to Lord Krishna, whom they considered an ordinary human being. Just as a person with rose-colored glasses sees the entire world as rose-colored, a conditioned soul with mundane vision sees even God himself as mundane, and thus loses the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. So the real, they were getting the benefits or the fruits of their sacrifice by getting a chance to serve Krishna, but they just couldn't see it because their consciousness was not properly placed. Nate yado miti prochur, naneti cha parantapa, gopa nirasha, pratyetya tathochu Krishna ramayo. When the Brahmins failed to reply even with a simple yes or no, it is the chastiser of the enemy, Parikshit. The cowherd boys returned disappointed to Krishna and Ram and reported this to them. Tadupakarnyam Bhagavan Prahasya Jagadishvara Vyajahara Punaragopan Darshyam Lokikim Gatim. Hearing what had happened, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of the universe, simply laughed. He is the Lord of the universe, Jagadishvara. He's not dependent on some food from some Brahmins. We or the Brahmins are dependent upon him. Our job is to serve him. He's the Lord of the universe. But he simply laughed at these unintelligent rascal fools. Then he again addressed a cowherd boy, showing them the way man acts in this world. By laughing, Lord Krishna indicated to the cowherd boys that they need not be angry at the ritualistic Brahmins, but should understand that one who begs will often be refused. So cowherd boys, being cowherd boys, they are gopas, they got angry at the Brahmins. Of course, they didn't yell and scream at the Brahmins, but when they came back, they must have told Krishna, we are angry, we don't want to go back. These are fools, Brahmins, and this and that. Gopas can do anything. Nobody can stop them. And later we'll study how gopis, they can even do more than what gopas can. Mama gyapiyat patnibhya sasankarshanam agatam dasyanti kamam annamba snigdha mai ushita dhiya. Lord Krishna said, tell the wives of the Brahmins that I have come here with Lord Sankarshan. See, first time he said, tell the Brahmins, Lord Balram is hungry, and Krishna too. Now he's saying, tell them, I have come here with Lord Sankarshan. So again, my name first to wives of the Brahmins. They will certainly give you all the food you want, for they are the most affectionate toward me, and indeed with the intelligence they reside in me alone. While physically the wives of the Brahmins remained at home, within their minds they resided in the Supreme Lord Krishna because of intense affection for him. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the reason Lord Krishna did not have the cowherd boys tell the Brahmins' wives he was hungry is that he knew this would severely distress these devoted ladies. Simply out of affection for Lord Krishna, however, the wives would be happy to give all the food requested of them. They would not heed their husbands' prohibitions, since they resided within the Lord through their transcendental intelligence. So the message that he is giving is not that I am hungry, I have come here with Lord Sankarshan. And just go tell the Brahman's wife. Basically, he is trying to tell also the difference. See, same house, but Brahmins are not devotees, but the wives are devotees. And look how they will respond to your request. So anyway, we'll stop here and take it up tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments.
We appreciate, Prabhuji, we appreciate the time that you spend with us. You're right. It takes gallons of blood to become a devotee, and I consider myself fortunate.
Well, I'm fortunate because this way I get to read Bhagavatam and speak on
Bhagavatam. Prabhuji has already spent gallons of blood on me.
No. I have put on weight whenever I come to your house. I don't spend gallons of blood.
No, you spend gallons of blood. I am not still coming.
Prabhuji, just to add upon one thing here, the level of patience which you show, right, Vidur Prabhuji, that's just extraordinary. I mean, answering all the questions, keeping that calm, and it's just not, sometimes you say running out of time or something. It's so much of patience you have. I think it's just a blessing of Krishna because of that.
Fully agree with you, Vinay Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I've been hearing it for like almost now 4 years. And, people say, nothing comes free, but this teachings are completely free, It's just that we have to devote time for it. That's it. Thanks a lot, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all for giving
Hare
me this
Krishna. Vinay Prabhuji, you said it's free. फ्री नहीं है, आपको अपना श्रद्धा का भाव और प्रभु की तरफ जो प्रोग्रेस है वो दिखानी पड़ती है. ये फ्री नहीं है, ये गलतफहमी में मत रहिए.
अग्री विद यू.
हाँ, तो इसको फ्री मत समझिए. मैं इसके लिए बहुत कुछ आपको सैक्रिफाइस करना पड़ेगा इस पोजीशन पे आने के लिए, ये सुनने के लिए.
अग्री प्रभु.
या हरे कृष्णा.
He is already a Dhamvasi. He's from Ayodhya. He is giving us his association here.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
it's all after. It has happened just after coming in association with you and Radha Prabhuji and all other devotees. Because almost half of my life I spent in Kolkata and other places. But I think this is the will of Lord that He brought me here somehow in this town. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
You were born in Ayodhya. You're living in Ayodhya.
No,
Associate of
Prabhu.
Lord Ram.
No. I was not born in Ayodhya. I was born in Kolkata. I spent my 25 years there, 25 to 30 years of my life. And then I was traveling
Okay.
different places. I always have had my heart, in Ayodhya that someday I'll come here. And I think Lord Krishna has heard me. Especially, ISKCON is here. So I'm really cherishing for this. ISKCON is here.
That's good. That's
So
wonderful.
there is
That's
this
wonderful.
new temple that is Ram temple that is being built, the Ayodhya temple.
Yes, Mataji, yes. It's
Acha,
getting completed by, I would say tentatively by December next year. It's going to be ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Please come.
I really want to see that temple.
Most
Yeah.
welcome.
We'll all go next time. Go
July
over
when
here.
Prabhuji
Yes.
comes to
Okay.
India.
प्रभु जी मुझे भी लेके जाइएगा यहाँ से आपके साथ चलेंगे
Okay, let me stop the recording first.
Okay.